Salute, salute. What's going on, everybody? Give some people some time to check in. And I want to know what's motivating people these days, what's inspiring people these days. But I'm going to give some people some time to check in and tap in. And overall, though, thanks to everybody who been showing me love since I've been at this new threshold, 1,000 subscribers. Man, it's a good thing, it's a great milestone for me. However, I got bigger and better plans for this whole podcasting thing. Took me some time to get here, but I'm thankful I'm here though. It took some time, but I'm here though. You know, I'm not on Instagram, I'm not on Facebook, I'm not on Twitch, I'm not on Rumble. So my process was a little different from other people. I'm thankful, it was humbling for me to be where I'm at, to get here. So I'm thankful though. You know what I mean? So like I said, I'm gonna give some people some time to tap in and check in. You know what I mean? To see what people doing on this good evening. The weather was terrific on the part of the globe that I'm on. And overall, I've been in great spirits lately. And I already said I'm gonna be going live a lot more. So I'm just giving some people some time to tap in, and if nobody don't tap in, I'm gonna go in at the 15-minute mark. You know what I mean? That's the time when it's like, whoever's going to tap in, I'll give them some type of time, because people don't really just be on here running and surfing and looking. Sometimes you got to give them time to actually check their phone or check their laptop or whatever device they probably using. You know what I mean? And I'm definitely going to do that though. But I just want to know what inspire people, like what motivate people to do what they do in life. Like, is it them or is it things around them? And we gonna get into it. We definitely gonna get into it. But overall, though, I just pray everybody's in good health, good strength. They got the right mentality, not letting nothing stress about overwhelm them. They putting the right energy into themselves. You know what I mean? And not letting the world get the best of them. Because that's what's going on nowadays. You know what I'm saying? Everything is going on with everything. Money, politics, food, clothes, jewelry, cars, like everything is on a whole nother level right now. So I just pray everybody out there keeping their head. They ain't letting the outside distractions get to them and bother them. You know what I mean? Because that's what happens a lot of times when you start paying attention too much, definitely to the local news, wherever you may be living at or wherever you at. You know what I mean? It's there to distract you or it's there to put fear. You know what I mean? Just keep God first. Things will come together and things will start working. You know what I mean? And working out for you, wherever you at and whatever your situation is. You know what I mean? You stay motivated, you stay encouraged to, first of all, self-preservation and do what you got to do. Then secondly, if you married or you got kids or you living with family, but you always got to do you first and foremost. You know what I'm saying? You got to keep your home base healthy, keep your home base secure. You know what I mean? Keep your home base happy. And that's just you overall. You know what I mean? The right mentality, the right psychological approach. You know what I mean? Like that's something, that's important, that's not stressed enough. And a lot of people are stressed, you know what I mean, for whatever the reasons are, We all got pain we going through. We all got trauma we have been through, or we going through, or we healing from. So that's why on my platform, I ain't into talking about people. I'm into talking to people. And secondly, you know, another thing I do on my platform, I'm here to help and heal. You know what I'm saying? Like we all need healing and we all need help. And it's some people just take help as financially. Nah, I mean psychologically. You know what I mean? I mean verbally. I mean spiritually. And we need that because when we're not focused, our spirits become under attack by so many various different things and so many various different people. You know what I mean? Whether that's whatever you do for a living, whether that's family, whether that's kids, whether that's when you're going shopping for food, whether you're going shopping for clothes, you're shopping for a vehicle. It's easy for your spirit to be under attack because people trying to overwhelm you with what they want you to do. You know what I'm saying? And not really what's best for you. That's why on my platform, I like to give people advice that I would take myself. So even though I may suggest things or give advice, I would take it. I wouldn't put advice out there that I wouldn't accept or wouldn't take myself. You know what I mean? And it's easy to tell somebody something that you wouldn't listen to. What's happening? Oh, my sister, good evening. I hope all is well. Yeah, I'm driving, so I made sure. Oh no, I appreciate it. Thanks for tapping the like button. I mean, you driving, so honestly, please just try to get there safe. You know, if you can, tap back in when you get there safe. I appreciate it, but I want you to overwhelm yourself and be trying to respond or, you know what I'm saying, like just do too much and you're on the road. You know what I mean? Because it's a lot going on the road. I mean, it's a road rage incidents up. You never know who under the influence on the road. So please just try to get to your destination safe or wherever you're going safe. And if you got time, tap back in. If you don't, just God bless you. And I just pray you make it to wherever you're going safely. You know what I mean? But yeah, like I was saying, so a lot of things are happening everywhere. It used to be like condensed to certain little areas. Okay, this happening here, this happening there. This is everywhere. Things going on all across the globe. This ain't an America thing no more. This ain't a China thing or Japan thing or London thing or Brazil thing. I will, if I can, for sure. Nah, no problem, no problem, no problem. Please, get where you're going safe and sound. And thanks for the like button, and thanks for responding, and thanks for corresponding with me and riding it out with me. You're one of a kind, and I appreciate you. So yeah, it's a lot going on everywhere. This is just not an America thing. Some people used to just base it probably where they from. If they from New York or they from Cali or they from the Windy City or they from the Motor City or what I'm saying, they from Texas or wherever they from. It's not like that no more. This is a world thing. This is global now. People got mental health issues everywhere. People financially strapped everywhere. People strapped to pay their bills everywhere. You know what I mean? It's a food crisis everywhere. You know what I mean? Like it's a crisis amongst family everywhere. It ain't how it used to be. It's like we all healing from something, or we all going through something that we looking to heal from, or we looking to avoid going through something so we ain't got to be in the healing mode. So that's why I type in the description inspiration, because that's what I'm gonna be doing. We need inspiration. And what I'm gonna do today is I'm gonna put some questions out there. I want to know when you tired, where you getting inspiration from, when you don't feel like being bothered, what inspired you to keep going, like what motivates you to do what you do. Is it money? Is it family? Is it your children? Is it your career position? Is it your religion? Is it your faith? Like what motivates you, whoever's out there listening to me, or whoever's out there that may hear this on the playback, what's your inspiration? What motivates you to do what you do? What motivates me to do what I do? Reflection. The mirror. Like this camera I'm looking at. I reflect on where I was at. And it motivates me to go where I want to be. You know what I'm saying? Or to get where I'm going. It's motivating me. Like, yo, you know what? I'm thankful. I still got life, strength, and breath. However, I'm seeking higher learning. I'm seeking higher education. Now that I'm at this threshold with these subs, I'm looking to be monetized. You know what I mean? Because I want to turn this YouTube thing into something on a bigger scale. Salute, realist, salute, 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 bro. I appreciate you. Yeah, I'm looking to turn this YouTube thing into something bigger, something more broader. You know what I mean? Where I could have guests on and we could really sit down and build. You know what I mean? Whether that's through pain, off pain, or from pain. You know what I mean? Yeah, man. I'm looking to turn this into something bigger, something better, something stronger. You know what I mean? About something, a backbone. You know what I mean? The basis of it, yeah, is motivation and education. However, like I said before you tapped in, my brother, and whoever else is out there listening, what motivate people every day? What's people inspiration? My inspiration is, my motivation is reflection. What that means, I look in the mirror every day and I'm thankful for what I see, but I'm thankful for where I'm going. I'm also appreciative and blessed from where I came from. Yes, I have came from harsh conditions. I did grow up in poverty-stricken situations, but that made me stronger. It made me more respectful. See, Del, what's going on, my sister? What's going on with you? What's going on? I tapped into your video. I appreciate what you did. You went out with your son, you know what I mean? Now, I don't know if it's, when you said that the Nike store closing, if it's the one where you at or just Nike stores in general. I mean, it's an outlet by where I'm at. And the last time I went, I mean, it was open. Everything was good with it. So when I do get some time and I get some money, I got to shoot back over there to that specific area. I mean, I don't buy too much Nike apparel, but just to see, like I said, I don't know if it was where you at that the Nike store probably shut down. But the last time I went to the one by where I'm at, it was up and running. Yeah, so like I said, what inspired me is reflection, me looking back on where I was at and where I'm looking to go. I think it's the one. Okay, all right, no problem. All right, that's good. That's good to know. All right. I look back at where I was, where I used to be, where I'm at, and where I want to be going. That's my motivation every day. Where I was in the trenches with it. I was knee deep in the streets. And I know a lot of people say that. I mean, literally and logically, like I was knee deep in the streets. Like I was out there hustling hard. And then I had to make the transformation from getting locked up all the time and understanding at one point, because the transition was real. Like I was in it so deep where my acknowledgement level was low. And I couldn't really acknowledge the fact that if family, my moms, my pops, whoever didn't want to put money in my account or nobody wanted to bail me out. And it's like, damn. And then I got to that point where it was like, you know what? But I got to take ownership. Ain't nobody made me run them streets. Ain't nobody made me hustle. I decided to do that because the route at that time when I was younger, that was the route I wanted to take. I thought that was a good route or easy route to get money. Or I thought it was a way of being a man. And then I had to see a brighter day. But I'm glad that I'm still here and I could give my testimony to somebody that it may resonate with. And they be like, yeah, yo, my situation was similar. And now we could build with each other. You know what I'm saying? The same thing with me having kids and me being a father. You know what I mean? I know when I was younger, I should have been a better man. I should have been a better father. You know what I mean? Because at those times in my life, I was so engulfed in being in the street and getting money that even though I did have kids, they wasn't my first priority, because it's like, man, I gotta get this money. If I can't get this money, how am I gonna feed my kids? And it's like, yes, I do need to feed them, and I do need to be there for them financially. But now that I'm older, if I could have went back and be like, they still need my leadership, they still need my guidance, they still need my preparation, they still need my dedication. But I was more dedicated to the money. I was more prepared to be in the street. And then, the more and more I was going in and out of jail and getting locked up, I'm like, yo, I gotta better my situation, because now I can't keep looking at my mom till she don't want to put money in my account or try to bail me out. I can't be mad at my pops if he don't want to come see me or send me no commissary money. I can't be mad at, the woman that was in my life at the time, or women I dealt with. They don't want to come see me, or they don't want to put money in my account. Man, I gotta become more responsible. I gotta look at me. And what started to happen was, when I was getting locked up, I had to sit down longer. It's like, damn, I'm gonna be in here for like 2 years, 3 years, or I'm gonna be fighting this case for 18 months, 2 years. Man, you know what? I gotta get this thing together, because if I don't, this time that I'm this little 2 or 3 years that may be facing 4 or 5 years, that could turn into 15 to 20. And then I really ain't gonna be there for my kids, let alone I ain't gonna be nothing, and I ain't gonna have nothing. What I'm gonna come back home to? You know what I'm saying? I'm getting older, so I can't expect to run back to family or my mom's crib or my baby mom's or my girl crib. So I gotta get this thing together. And the more and more I started to reevaluate my situation, it was like, nah, man, I gotta start doing better. And before I got in a better mind frame, I was struggling with other things, with my attitude. I was struggling with accountability. I was struggling with responsibility. I was struggling with getting my priorities together. And that's just for me. So I had to reevaluate everything. And I had to do some self-reflection, like, yo, I'm saying, you got to do better, man. Because what's going to happen when your kids start to grow up and they start to question you, what you going to do? And when I looked at that, I'm like, yeah, you know what? Damn, that is true. Like, what's going to happen when my kids start to question me and ask me things like, what am I really going to tell them? And the more and more I started to get older, and I was doing the self-reflection on an everyday level, more and more things was hitting me like, nah, but this is like something you got to work on. This is like a loose end in your life. You gotta patch this up right here. And when I started to do that, I had a lot of conflicts with people, kids included, people that I had children by included, because I had to reestablish myself. I had to reevaluate me. And me doing that, I had to isolate myself. I had to separate myself. And in the beginning, it was coming across as me being selfish, or me being closed off, or me being cold, or me being cruel. It wasn't nothing like that. It was just like, I wasn't right. So until I get me right, I can't be around other people, because now I might lash out. I might say something I can't take back. I might do something I can't take back. And it was like that in the very beginning, because I wasn't happy with me. However, I couldn't even come to terms where I wanted to say that out loud or say it to other people, because I wasn't happy with myself. And right now, in 2025, that's what's going on with a lot of people. They're not happy with themselves. So what they tend to do is place and plant their insecurities off on other people. They say, no, you shouldn't do that, or no, you can't do that. Like, I made a video about that. If I was you syndrome. That's why I would never tell somebody, well, if I was you, this is what I would do, because I'm not them. Like, I vibe with people. However, I know my limitations and my boundaries. I don't know other people's circumstances and situations. So I'm unable to tell them what I would do if I was them. I would give them suggestions or advice, but I wouldn't say, yo, if I was you, I would do this if that was my girl. Yo, if I was you, I would come at my kid like this. They ain't me, I ain't them. Everybody's situation and circumstances is different. We may understand things coming from somebody else's situation, or we probably can relate to it, but everybody's circumstances The situation is different though. Like somebody may could relate to getting locked up like me because they probably was in the streets too. They probably was hustling too. But that don't mean that we hustled the same way or we hustled the same things or we hustled at the same time. But they might be like, nah, I was out there. I was hustling at one point. Or, yeah, I got locked up. You know what I mean? And they may have done more time than me. I may have done more time than them. But the fact of the matter is we could relate because we had the same struggle in regards to where we had the thresholds we had to make it to get to where we are today. And it ain't gonna never be easy. However, it's worth it. I'm gonna say that again. It may not be easy, but it's worth it. And that's why a lot of people struggling with mental health, because when it's time to reflect and it's time to open up, you ain't even got to open up to other people. Some people think you got to open up to other people. No, I had to open up to myself. I had to look in that mirror and talk to myself like, yo, you got to start doing better. Not just with communication, with the way you treat yourself. You know what I mean? Like with your diet, with your habits, with your routine. Like you got to work on self-discipline. You got to work on self-esteem. You got to work on self-confidence. And after a while, once I started to understand that, certain things started to become second nature to me. And first and foremost was self-respect, self-control, self-discipline. Why that became second nature to me? Because how I'm going to tell my kids about discipline, and I don't have discipline. How I'm going to teach my kids about communication or bad behavior when I ain't even checking myself when it comes to that. I'm still exhibiting bad behavior in areas that I know as they get older or was getting older, they can look back and be like, damn, my dad said that or my pop said that or my father said that. But I'm saying he exhibiting bad behavior. So that's why I said when we all making the transitions and we going through things, it's not easy, but it's worth it. And a lot of times you may have to isolate. You may have to separate. People going to call you selfish. People going to say, oh, well, if you're a real woman or you're a real man, you don't have to do all that just to improve yourself. Again, nobody knows what it's like for somebody to do self-improvement. Nobody know what that's like. Only the person that's actually going through it, because it's them. And I was like that at one point with other people in my life when they wanted to self-improve. It was like in the beginning, I'm like, yo, damn, but if you want to do better by yourself, I'm saying, why you don't want to talk to me, or why you want to deal with me, or why you don't speak? And then as I started to go through that transition, I thought about those same people. Like, I understand why Jane Doe, John Doe had to isolate or had to separate, or they ain't really want to be bothered, because it's not easy, but it's worth it. So that's why today with this live stream, I want to know what's people inspiration, what's people motivation. Because if it's money, you may only be inspired only to get up and do something or put action behind something when you get money out of it. If it's family, you may only want to be motivated and inspired to do something when it involves family. That's why I said I'm my inspiration. I'm my motivation. You know what I mean? Because I can't rely on or rely off people or money or materialistic things for me to be inspired to do something. I'm not even fully monetized, but I'm inspired to do what I'm doing on my platform. You know what I'm saying? And just the mere fact that I know I'm halfway there, that's inspiring. That's motivating. Like, you know what? I gotta get some more watch hours up now. You know what I mean? That's motivating. No, all right, I'm halfway there. Because this is going to be a new realm for me. Just like before I started my podcast, I was into my music heavy and just getting my life together. But I was speaking to a lot of people. A lot of people like, yo, man, how you be speaking, man? Yo, you need to be like a public speaker. Like, you need to set up a platform or something on the internet, on YouTube or something. And I'm like, damn, you think I could do that? And it wasn't like one person or two people or a group of people. I was speaking to various different people about various different scenarios and situations. And a lot of people was either clinging to, having an understanding, or respected my perspective on certain situations, on certain circumstances. And like I told them, though, that came with life experience. That didn't just come from me knowing. It took experience. I've been through a lot. So the things that I was going through, I'm like, all right, I've been through this. This is experience. Like I've been through having it. And then I've been through not having it, because when I was in the streets, I was having money and I wasn't on it like people that was around me. Like I wasn't hustling to get like a car and fancy jewelry. And I just like, you know what? I really need this money, because I was having a living crisis a lot when I was younger, because I chose not to listen to my moms and family. And I respect my family a lot more as I was getting older, because they didn't want that around them. So they like, yo, we know you be out there running the streets and you be hustling. You can't come here. You can't stay here. And in the beginning, me being ignorant, me being selfish, and me not holding myself accountable, I was upset with my family. But the more I was getting locked up and the more I was getting in trouble and I was reevaluating myself, I'm like, nah, Aunt so-and-so, nah, she was right. Uncle so-and-so was right. Yo, my mom was right. And as I started to make more and more of a transition, I was thankful they did it, because it made me become more mentally strong. I'm like, nah, I gotta fix this. Now, maybe if they would have still embraced me and accept me, maybe I wouldn't have the mentality I have today. Maybe I probably would have got deeper and deeper in the trenches with the situations I was in. But since my family was like, nah, we ain't accepting that. We ain't having that. Like, yo, you need to become a better man. Like, you need to start thinking about your kids. You need to start thinking about your life. Like, what you gonna do? Before you know it, before you look up, you're gonna be like 40, 50 years old. And when you younger, when you late teens, early 20s, you ain't like, man, I ain't thinking about being 35, 45. You ain't thinking about that. You know what I'm saying? Like, you like, man, I'm gonna be all right, I'm gonna be good, but you go through things. And then some people get a wake-up call quicker than others. Some people got to get way deep in debt, where it's like, damn, it got to be like a life-altering experience. For me, in and out of jail was life-altering experiences. I mean, I had people that I was around and seen people lose their life. And I don't mean like I was there, but I'm saying like we probably was in the same school, or we probably grew up in the same community or the same hood. And it was like, damn, yo, but I know his family. Like, damn, he got, he got unalived. Like, damn. Or, you know what I'm saying? Or some people went away to fight. And that's when I think it was Iraq. Like some people I went to know that fought in the war, never made it back, never got back home. And it's like, well, damn, I know his family, man. You know what I'm saying? Or people just got locked up and it's like, yo, they got 25 with life behind it, or they got life in jail for getting money or for unaliving somebody. You know what I'm saying? Or trying to really get some real money, trying to hold up a bank or something like that. You know what I'm saying? And in the process, they probably unalive the people. So it's like, damn, they ain't gonna never see daylight again. And things like that was like, you know what? I got another opportunity, man. And like I said, it ain't gonna be easy, but it's worth it. That's the thing. It ain't gonna be easy, but it's worth it. It's like investments. It ain't gonna be easy for you to just say, okay, I could invest, for example, $100 in this, and it's gonna turn into 100,000 in 2 months. It may take 2 years. It may take 5 years. But is it worth it? Yes. It's gonna take time though. Anything that's for the betterment of you is worth it. It's just now, are you motivated? Are you inspired to put the time in? That's the thing. Are you inspired? Are you motivated to put the effort in? That's why I always tell people when they come to my platform, or when they leave a comment, or they give me a thumbs up, or they share, yo, I appreciate your time, your effort, and your energy, because it takes time to do that. It takes effort to do that. It takes energy to do that. And we all going through, I don't care who it is. It could be a billionaire. They're going through something. It may not be documented. They may not be saying nothing on the internet, or they may not be expressing it to loved ones, but they all going through something. They might be like, yo, I got 10 billion. They might be brainstorming how to get 20. You know what I'm saying? So we all going through something. So that's why, first and foremost, I respect myself. Second, third, and fourth, I pray that others respect themselves. Then after you respect yourself, you got to look in that mirror every day and ask yourself, what's going to inspire you to do better for you? That's why I said, is it money? Is it your job? Is it your career position? Is it your children? Is it your family? Is it your relationship if you married, or your fiance, or whatever that situation or whatever the dynamics are? But what's going to motivate you to keep it moving on the days you don't want to get up out of bed, or the days you don't want to be bothered? Because I have them days and I'm tired. I'm like, man, I don't want to work out. Man, I don't want to make nothing to eat. The only thing I know I want to do for sure is give thanks to God for getting me up, for giving me the strength for my eyes to open. And I always want to take care of my physical hygiene. Those are two things I always want to do. I always want to thank God for getting me up, and I always want to take care of my physical hygiene, because I never know who I may interact with. So that's going to always be strategically important to me, thanking God and taking care of my hygiene. Now, other things, it's going to come, but I'm not going to force it, and I'm not going to stress myself about it. You know what I mean? I'll take care of my appearance to the best of my ability. You know what I mean? Like, I got, from my perspective, I got good clothes. You know what I mean? I got clothes that I just wear if I ain't really going nowhere. Let me just throw this on. Then I got clothes when I might be going a little somewhere that's okay, like an Olive Garden or Applebee's or something. I just throw this on. But when I'm going out, I got clothes for that. Suits, brand new sneakers that's like, I'm going to do something now. Let me step out. You know what I mean? But if I ain't really going nowhere, it's something regular. I ain't saying I throw on rags, but I'm looking decent. And then when I'm going somewhere that's like halfway decent, I'm a little bit more prepared. But when I'm going out, I make sure I'm right. You know what I'm saying? Because I'm really going somewhere now, and I'm gonna represent myself, or whoever I'm with, or whoever I'm going to be around, because that's important. But that all is from my own motivation and my own inspiration, though. I've listened to hip hop, and now it's rap. And yes, it's been songs that I really truly like, and it's been songs that I really appreciate, but I can't let that inspire me, because that's not my life. I can't let movies inspire me, because that's not my life. If anything, it's a life lesson for me when I was listening to certain songs and I watched certain movies, because it's like, all right, I learned that from watching this movie. You know what I'm saying? Like, all right, now I know certain things to pay attention to. But I don't see a movie and it's like, I'm inspired to be like that or to do that. Nah, because that director, I don't know that director, or I don't know that producer, or I don't know that writer personally. Like I said, it's a life lesson for me. Even when I was younger, I wasn't like that. When I was listening to hip hop, listening to who was out, KRS-One, LL, Rakim, Big Daddy Kane, Curtis Blow, you know what I'm saying? Heavy D, like, you know what I'm saying? And then as I got older, you know, Jay-Z came out, Big came out, Pac came out. But I wasn't like, yo, even though I liked it, all their songs were like, I want to be like Tupac. I want to be like Big. I respect all them dudes, because they had a craft and they was working on perfecting their craft. And shout out to anybody that's working on perfecting their craft. It ain't just got to be in movies or with movies. I mean, with music, any way you perfecting your craft in life. Salute. Shout out to you. However, you got to be inspired and motivated on your own. Let's just say, for instance, you've been at a job. The people that's running that corporation or whatever that business is, they ain't gonna just come to you and make you manager. They ain't gonna do that. You put work in. They'll be like, all right, yo, you've been putting work in, and now you got to apply yourself for that next step. That's just life. Ain't nobody gonna give it to you. You're gonna have to apply yourself. Like, I'm gonna apply myself, because I know I want to be a manager, or I want to be in a better position. So you got to apply yourself. However, you got to be your motivation though. Excuse me. You got to be your motivation though. You got to inspire you. You know what I mean? Because when you look to people to do these things, what happens when they don't come through for you? So that's why I don't look to nobody to motivate me and inspire me, because what's going to happen when they don't come through? Then it's like, oh, they let you down. No, you let you down. That's why I said I thank God every day, and I just take care of my hygiene. Anything else that happens within a day or within any time frame, I got to go with it how it come. But nothing is certified. I can't control anything. You know what I'm saying? And I'm glad I understand that as well. That's something else that motivates me. I'm not in control. God is. And whatever God sent my way, respectfully, I'm going to respect it. But I'm not in control. The only thing I can control is my own thoughts and how I react to what's said and done to me. I can't control anything else. God got that. Like I said, I'm going to say that again. Only thing I can control is my own thoughts and how I react to things that come my way. Nothing else. Nothing else. I can't control it. And I'm thankful that I'm to that point now that I don't try to. I don't look to. Because I understand that. Some people got to really grasp that. They're not in control. That'll alleviate a lot of unwarranted circumstances and situations. A lot of relationships I was in with family, with friends, with other people, once I understood that, it wasn't that they didn't mean anything because they did, but the relationship I had with them didn't mean anything any longer because I'm not in control just like them. They mean something to me. Yes, my family means something to me. My children mean something to me, but my relationship with them don't mean anything because them nor me is in control of that. We not. I could put my best foot forward with any relationship I'm in with anybody in life. That don't mean that relationship is going to work. Vice versa. They could put their best foot forward in any relationship with other people. That don't mean that relationship going to prosper or it's going to be prosperous. That don't mean that. Because I'm not in control. I'm driving. I'm on the road. I can't control another driver's car. It don't matter if that person is in front of me and they're going slow. I just got to be patient. And I just thank God that I can get around them and keep it moving. Same way if I'm in front of somebody and they honking their horn, I can't control them honking their horn. I can move to the side and let them go, or I could make that left or that right and just go another way. But for me to get at them, I can't control what they're doing. I can control what I'm doing and what I'm thinking or what I'm going to say, but I can't control what they're going to do, what they're going to say. That's why mental health is at an all-time high because people understand they can't control others. But the issue starts is when you can't control yourself. I'm going to say that again. People understand they can't control others, but the issue starts when people can't control themselves. So that's why I ask what motivates people, what inspires people. That's why I say I motivate me, I inspire me, because I understand that. I understand that. I can't control what nobody else is going to do or say. I'm on my live right now. My comment section is open. Somebody could jump down there and say whatever to me. It's all on my response. Whether they're saying something positive, negative, stupid, smart, that's not the point. The point is that it's on me how I'm going to come at it. Because I can't control what nobody else is going to say or do. I'm in control of what I can say and what I can do. That's that. That's that. So we in the days of time where people are easily controlled and manipulated by what other people say and do and think about them. See, the reason why it doesn't affect me the way that it used to, because I was at the bottom of the bottom, meaning I was homeless. I was digging in the garbage to getting bottles and cans. I say that a lot in my videos and in my live streams because it helped me mentally be prepared for anybody want to try to speak down to me. It's like, but I was there before. So actually, they wouldn't even be speaking down to me. What they actually would be doing, they would just be speaking about some of my pain. And I learned, and I'm still learning how to turn pain into pleasure, turning pleasure into prosperity. So I'm thankful. You know what I'm saying? Like that, I've been through these harsh conditions where it's like, damn, I was living in a train station before. I was living in the park before. And it wasn't because my family didn't love me, or it wasn't because I didn't want none. It's because I had to reevaluate the way I was living, the way I was thinking, the way I treated myself. And God wanted me to go through that. And you know what? I'm thankful. I'm thankful. I appreciate it because it humbled me. It not only humbled me, but it gave me vision. It gave me foresight. I was able to see the future. See, when I was out there hustling, getting money, I was living for the moment. I'm like, I need this money right now. I got to hit the block right now. But once I went through that transition, it changed me because, like I said, I was able to see the future now because it's like, nah, I got to start living for the future. You know what I'm saying? It don't matter how that future gonna look. It ain't gonna be connected to my past because I'm gonna get past my past and I'm gonna be focused on my future. I'm gonna say that again. I'm gonna get past my past and I'm gonna get focused on my future. And like I said, it wasn't my family fault that I was living how I was living. I was homeless. I was living in parks. Or I had to live in train stations or whatever. That was on me because I made bad decisions. And salute to my family for not giving in. Like, nah, man, you still my nephew. You still this. You still that. You still my cousin. Even some of the females that I was dealing with or some of the females that I had babies with. I'm glad it was like, nah, I don't want you around. Oh, you got to do this, that. In the beginning, I'm like, oh, no, damn, Shan, that's supposed to be my baby mom. That's my kid. But then when I started to reevaluate myself and blame me for bad decisions that I made, I was thankful for that because it ain't nobody bad but mine. It's my fault. And I'm saying that to come full circle with what I said. I can't control what somebody else is going to say, think, or do. I can control what I think, what I'm going to say, and what I'm going to do. That's relevant to me. That's relevant. And I'm thankful that I've gotten to that point. Self-discipline, self-control, self-respect. See, the thing I learned about that word self, people only go for themselves when they're upset. People only go for themselves when they want to prove something. People only want to go for themselves when they're rebelling. See, me, I want to go for myself because it's self-motivation. It's self-inspiration. I'm not going for myself to spite people. I'm not going for myself because I'm upset with people. I'm not going for myself because I want to make people look bad or I want to say I told you so. Nah, I want to say I told me so. You know what I mean? Yo, I told myself I'm going to be better off than I was 15 years ago, 10 years ago, mentally, spiritually, psychologically, verbally. I told myself that. And I'm looking back like, damn, 15 years ago, I didn't even believe I would be here, but I kept telling myself, nah, you're going to get better with communication skills. You're going to get better with verbal skills. You're going to get better with interactions. You're going to get better with self-control, self-respect, self-restraint. Like you're going to get better with all that. And now I look back on it and I look back at it like, yeah, I'm glad I went through that. I'm glad so tested my character and my fortitude and cursed me out. That helped me out, helped me become a better person. So I was thankful that it happened like that. Like, yeah, y'all, you know what? I'm glad they said that. Because I had time to be psychologically prepared for it when it comes. Like, you know what? I'm glad they said that. And some of the people that I went through situations with, I got back at them later in life. Like, yo, but I'm glad we went through that. It made me stronger. You helped me out. And they was like, for real? No, you helped me out. I appreciate it. I'm glad you said that. I'm glad you did that. Help me out. It made me stronger. It made me compose. It made me more prepared. So when somebody says something, like, all right, ignore that. And I had went through something, right? I had moved somewhere. And when I had moved there, first day, the person that was like my neighbor, so to speak. They wasn't my neighbor like I knew them, but they was like my neighbor because where I was living at, it was like living like next door to me or like downstairs from me, so to speak. And I just really got there. And they was going in on their girl or their wifey or their baby moms. They was just like verbally getting at her. And no, that's not my business. But what that showed me was I gotta keep my distance from that. I gotta stay away from that. And I kind of seen the mirror because that reminded me of what I didn't want to be any longer. Like, nah, I don't want to be like that no more. And I'm not saying that I'm perfect or relationships I have is perfect, but I'm saying nobody that's in my life is worth me disrespecting them or me disrespecting myself or embarrassing myself or embarrassing them. It's a way to do things. So even if I may not like something my kids say or my girls say or a family member say, it's a way for me to address them and it. It's like, yo, you know what? Let me talk to you for a second. But to just come at them anywhere in the supermarket, in the mall, outside in front of other people, again, I can't control how they're going to react to that now. So at least if I do it with some decency and some self-control, some self-restraint, some self-respect, they may be like, yo, I'm saying I ain't like what he said, but I respect how he came at me though. Because as I started to grow and evolve, I had to do that. Like, I already like what Uncle so-and-so said or my mom said, but you know what? I respect how they did it though. Because like nobody was around. They pulled me to the side. They like, yo, look. This is what you got to work on. This is what you got to do. Like, if you want to be around me, this is what it is. And this is how it's going to have to be. And like I said in the very beginning, that would have been an argument because I probably would have got upset or I probably would have lashed out. And I wasn't looking in that mirror. So that's why on my platform and in real life, I move the way I move because I can't control what somebody else think, say, or do. And I'm thankful that I made it to that point because, like I said, people do things. They rebelling because, oh, they fed up with people. So now I'm going to show people what I really could do. Or they get into arguments. Or I'm going to show people I'm better off on my own. Show yourself that. I'm not showing anyone anything any longer. I'm showing myself that I could sustain self-control, self-confidence, self-esteem, self-respect. And I'm loving when somebody wants to say, yo, you selfish. You need to work on becoming more selfish. And not selfish in the way that you're not sharing your time or you're not sharing food or you don't want to help people. No, selfish because you got to get to know you anyway. But when you're putting so much time, effort, and energy into others, when it don't go the way you anticipated or you thought or you perceived it should go, it's going to be an argument. It's going to be an argument. But if you get focused on you, you work on the things you need to improve for you, it don't matter who you around, don't matter who you interact with. You know you. And now you can set boundaries. You could tell your girl or your man or your husband or your wife or your mama, look, I love you, but look, this is triggering for me. This is my boundaries. It don't matter. It don't matter what they say. That don't matter. See, that's the issue. When you set boundaries, you can't look at how somebody gonna respond to your boundaries. It's like you work hard to get your money. You quick to tell people, I ain't giving you that money for that. So you gotta be able to tell people, look, I love you and all, but I don't want to be around that. Whatever that situation, circumstances may be. You may not want to be around people gossiping. You may not want to be around people who talk loud. You may not want to be around people who use people. You may not want to be around people who don't get along with their family, whatever it is. Whatever that thing or things may be. Just set your boundaries and stick to them. Always stick to your boundaries. Always. Love ain't got nothing to do with boundaries. Love ain't got nothing to do with that. So no matter how much you love your mom or your dad or your kids or your man or your woman or your job or getting money or going out or your car, whatever, that ain't got nothing to do with boundaries. Or being around other people, your friends, that ain't got nothing to do with boundaries. That ain't got nothing to do with boundaries. I got boundaries. I didn't have boundaries on the level that I have them now. I only had boundaries when somebody got me upset. I only had boundaries when I felt as if or seen as if people turned their back on me. Or now I wanted to prove something to somebody. Now I just have boundaries. It doesn't matter. I'm not upset. Nobody did nothing to me, but I have boundaries. And if my kids think that I'm not a good man or a good father, I'm not mad at that. I just know that they have boundaries and I'm going to respect their boundaries. Maybe they're not at that point in their life yet where when somebody tell them that they have boundaries, they maybe don't know how to respect it yet. But I'm to that point. Boundaries. Always set boundaries. Love don't got nothing to do with that. Money don't got nothing to do with that. Lifestyle don't got nothing to do with that. Materialistic things have nothing to do with that. Boundaries. See, we have a lot of problems because, again, we only do these things when an issue is involved with it or a problem starts. Set boundaries on a good day. Set boundaries with a smile on your face. But we don't set boundaries, so we have problems. And that turns into a conflict. That turns into an issue. You start hearing people say things like this to you, oh, you switching up on me now, or you acting funny now. It's like, I'm acting funny? They looking at it like that, whether that's true or false, they looking at it like that because you haven't set boundaries. Like I said, you work, you get money. And when I say you, I'm just saying people in life. How you gonna set a boundary on like, I'm not giving you money for that, or I'm not letting you drive my car. Or I'm not letting those people come to my house or my apartment or my condo or whatever your living situation is. Okay, that's boundaries. Good. Set more. Set them in relationships. Set them with your kids. Set them with your family. See, we believe we only should set boundaries with things that's personal to us. Make you personal to you. I'm going to say that again. We only set boundaries on things that we think that's personal to us. Set boundaries on you. Take you personal so you could become professional. I'm going to say that again. Take things personal with you because you're personal so you can become professional. That's what I do with myself. I take things personal so I can become professional. Whoever else is taking what I'm doing personal, then I don't know what to tell them, because it's about becoming professional. That's what it's about. After you get out of your personal feelings about whatever you're going to set your boundaries about, you got to become professional and stand on that. People say, yo, I'm standing on business. I'm 10 toes. If you really 10 toes, then you wouldn't have problems with other people, because they should know that you 10 toes, just like you're going to let them know you 10 toes. And now you're going to be professional with it. You ain't going to curse them out. You ain't got to scream. You ain't got to yell. You ain't got to do none of that. Just chill. And if you got to go back and forth, then you know that they ain't professional. Keep it moving. Ain't nothing to argue about. Ain't nothing to get bent out of shape about. You know they ain't professional. Leave it alone. And that's another reason I prefer to talk to people and not about them. Because once I let them know, or once I let a person know, I could keep it moving. But if I talk about them, how professional am I really? But if I talk to them, I'm a professional. And I know a lot of people ain't ready to be professionals. I know that. So that's why I'm going to keep it professional. After I let them know what's going on, I'm professional. That's it. It doesn't matter how they perceive it. It's like when you working wherever you working at, your manager or your boss or the CEO or the CEO, whoever's the president of that company, they're taking it personally, like, yo, you got to be at this time. You got to wear this uniform. This is the policy for you to get this money. See how you ain't taking that personal? Because you're thinking about getting that money, right? Do it, apply the same thing when it comes to your life, when it comes to family, when it comes to how you're going to do whatever you're going to do. Take the same steps. Same steps. Like, you know what? Nah, I'm good. Become professional. People going to take it personal. It doesn't matter. That's why people who got things and get things, because they're professional. They're professional. They ain't taking them personal no more. Like when somebody say no, it's like, oh, what? How they gonna tell me no? How you taking that personal? If you got that professional mentality, them telling you no should be motivation. You should be inspired. Then they told me no. Like when I was doing what I was doing with my music, people be like, nah, studio time is this, or nah, you can't just come to studio and do that. In the beginning, I was taking it personal. But as I became more professional, it's like, man, I'm gonna learn how to engineer. I'm gonna learn how to make beats. I'm gonna learn how to use a studio board or whatever. I'm gonna learn how to run Acid or Reasons or Music Maker or whatever the programs was that I had to learn. I stopped taking it personal, became professional. That's people's problem. When somebody else tells them something, they're taking it personal. When they're supposed to get professional, switch it up. Like, all right, nah, I'm glad they told me that. You know what? That's cool. That's why I'm sitting back like this in my chair, like, all right, that's cool. Because I learned how to get professional. It ain't personal. What you're going to do for you is personal. But with anybody else, you keep it professional. I'm going to say it again. What you're going to do for you is personal. When it comes to other people, just keep it professional. It don't matter who it is. That's another conflict of interest when you worry about who it is. Well, that's my mom, or that's my pops, or that's my girl, or that's my man, or that's my son, or that's my daughter. And only person that matter is you. Everybody else, stay professional. And you're going to see a difference in your life. It don't matter how they look at it. You're going to see a difference in your life. I've been doing things a lot more professional. I noticed a huge transition in my life. A huge trend. People say you don't burn bridges. I'm saying I'm going to get back across that ocean if I got to. If I got to swim, if I got to build a raft, I'm going to get back over there. That don't mean I got to take the bridge back over there. That don't mean that. That's what I'm saying. Somebody's telling me something about my circumstance or my situation. They might have been through something similar. They may believe they got to go back over that same bridge to get back to how they got there. I don't believe that. I'm not saying I ain't got to get back to where I was at, but I might not have to take that bridge. That's what I'm saying. It's like I'm in a corporate building. Just because I took the elevator up, that don't mean I got to take the elevator down. I probably take the stairs down. Just because I took the stairs up, I probably take the elevator down. That's what I am saying. So you ain't always got to go the same way you came, and you don't got to reverse it. That's what I'm saying. So people going to put out what they want to put out, their own narrative on how you need to do things. So when people try to do that, chilling. That's what I do. I'm chilling. No, got to say, I'm cool. That's what I say. I'm cool. Because I'm not going to be going back and forth with you. Because I ain't going to go back and forth with myself. I'm going to keep it professional. That's why a lot of people can't keep jobs. That's why a lot of people can't stay in relationships. That's why a lot of people can't keep money, because everything is personal. Nothing is professional. Just keep it professional. I'm certifying that. You start doing things for you that's personal, and when you deal with everything and everyone else, keep it professional. Watch how your life change dramatically and drastically. It's going to change. It's going to change. You're going to be like, damn, I did this on a professional level. I didn't even think this would elevate for me. Yeah, it will, because you're doing it professional. It ain't personal. You've been working at a company, they're like, yo, we don't need you no more. You can't take that personal. You can't take that personal. They don't need you no more. What you going to do? You going to get upset? But you're going to be mad at the bosses, the CEOs and all them? They don't need you no more. They don't need you no more. They could tell you, you could have been working there, started when you was 18 and now you 45. That don't mean, you know what I'm saying, you definitely going to retire there. Ain't that business could go out of business. That company could plummet. Then what? And it might not even be on the bosses and the CEOs or the president or whatever. The business plummet. It ain't making no more money. Now what? What you going to do? So if you just stay professional in these circumstances and situation, you ain't got to worry about it. You ain't got to worry about it. But if you come into a situation, everything's personal, when something happened, you're going to be heartbroken. That's why we got one heart. And that's why people end up, and they feeling so much, because they put their heart in every situation. And it's mind. You put your mind first. You think your way through the situation. You keep the logic high and keep the emotion as low as possible. I'm going to say that again. Keep the logic high and you keep the emotion low as possible. Because what you feel don't make you right. A lot of people are stuck in that nowadays. I feel. Okay, that don't make it right. What you feel. It's like everybody said, I'm entitled to my opinion. Okay, what's your opinion got to do with the facts? I'm entitled to my opinion, but that ain't got nothing to do with how I'm gonna put my opinion off on other people. That ain't got nothing to do with none of that. It's my opinion. It only matters to me. Facts, it's going to rank supreme. No matter what somebody say, how upset they get or how happy they get or whatever, however, whenever, facts going to always rank supreme. In every circumstance, in every situation, can't deny the facts. Facts is, I'm going to die. I just don't know when or how. I could tell somebody, but that would be my opinion. But the facts is I am going to die. See, I'm chilling again because that's facts. So it don't matter if somebody, whatever, it's facts. Everybody on the planet Earth will die. They just don't know when or how. Somebody could get sick from something and recover. They like, I thought that was going to take me out. Nah, you recovered. You don't know when or how. But the facts are, you're going to die. We all going to do that. So that's why I don't go off my opinion, because it only matters to me. That's why it's mine. Facts ain't called my facts. No, truth ain't called. That's why people say my truth. That's another way of saying my opinion. Facts stand out. That's it. No matter, again, how happy you are, how sad you are, how glad you are, whatever. Facts is facts. But opinion, everybody entitled to that. That's why so many people caught up in various different scenarios, because how they feel is supposed to supersede the truth, or their opinion is supposed to supersede the truth. Your opinion shouldn't be nowhere near the facts. How is opinion and facts even in the same sentence? It's not. People say my opinion, I'm entitled to that. You're right. But is it facts though? It's like doing wrong and being wrong. People connect that. You could be wrong about something. Somebody could say, yo, what's 8 plus 2? You could say 9. You was wrong about that. But when you do wrong, it's not the same as being wrong. People connect things like that. That's how come we going through a lot of things we go through. Because being wrong and doing wrong ain't the same thing. It sounds the same. It really do, but it's not. We all have that time in our life where we've been wrong about something. But doing wrong, it can affect you and a lot of other people. It's just like lying to someone and lying on someone. I could accept all day somebody lying to me. Somebody could say, yo, if you ever need me, call me, and I call them and they don't come through. Or somebody say, nah, if you ever need a place to lay your head and I go and they don't let me lay my head, or they say, come over here, you can eat anytime, and they don't feed me, I'm not upset about that. However, somebody lie on me, that's my credibility. I got a problem with that. See how I'm separating opinion and facts? I'm going to say that one more time for the people in the back. It's a difference between lying to someone and lying on someone.